On September 12th, Sunday night at 10:30, 49-year-old bicyclist Neil Allen Smith finished his shift at the Crab Shack on Gandy Boulevard. Nothing was bothering him. He got off shift and he started riding his bicycle home. This is his bike, and you can see when you get closer to it, it has lights on the front, a white light on the front, and it has a red flashing light on the back. He lives with a roommate a block south of here, over by MLK in the Hollywood Mobile Home Park. He was traveling southbound against the west curb line. He was in full compliance with the law. He had lights, he had reflectors, he was riding against the curb. It took him approximately 29 minutes to get from the Crab Shack to the 7300 block right over here in front of the dental center. And just before 11 o'clock, a vehicle came up behind him, traveling at approximately the speed limit of 45 miles an hour, and rear-ended him, as evidenced by the rear tire on the bike. Once he was hit, the bike and the rider were thrown to the west curb. The rider actually landed in some St. Augustine grass. He then tumbled into the bottom of that light pole where he struck his head. He suffered what was described to me as an internal decapitation. St. Pete Fire Rescue was called to the scene. They worked on him. His heart actually stopped on the way to the hospital. They brought him back, and he survived for 6 days. The vehicle that hit him was traveling south in the curb lane at approximately the speed limit. There was no, from the witness that was trailing him, there was no evidence that he was impaired or her were impaired. There was no swerving, there was no weaving, there was no abrupt motions leading up to the impact. He just impacted the bicyclist and then the car took off. The car has been described to us as a mid-90s Ford Taurus or Mercury Sable, light in color. We know from evidence left in the roadway that it was white in color. The vehicle, once the impact occurred, accelerated southbound on 4th Street. We had another witness that was standing on the side of the road that corroborated the same identity, mid-90s Ford Taurus, Mercury Sable type vehicle. 2 witnesses at Brandy's were outside. They identified it as the exact same type vehicle. 4 doors, white in color, dark tinted windows, but the windows were partially down. We did not know anything about the driver or any of the occupants. Somebody has some information about this, and we're asking for help. We need to be able to bring some kind of closure to these people.
Any idea what kind of damages might be on that vehicle?
There's definitely going to be some damage to the right front bumper, possibly some damage to the fender and or the hood. Again, the only pieces that I have are paint chips. More than likely, these are going to be from either the bumper or the fender. Interesting though, is during the course of the investigation, I actually walked the scene from here all the way down to Brandy's, looking for any kind of headlight, any kind of glass, grill pieces. There was nothing in the roadway. The only thing that was found were these paint chips. How we know that these were involved, several of these paint chips were found on top of the grass right on the side of the roadway. This is what's called very short-lived evidence. Had any other cars driven by, it would have blown this away. It would have destroyed it, it would have blown it away, it would not have been there minutes later. So we know that this was involved. These are paint chips from the suspect vehicle. It appears that there's going to be minimal damage, but there will be marks on this vehicle.